This is the most secure shelter of all. To defend against wild beasts in the dangerous forest, the man cleverly made use of an abandoned tree stump and perfectly hid the shelter 2.5 meters underground. The interior space is not only spacious and comfortable, but also equipped with a fireplace stove and an oven. Even if there are year-round snowstorms outside and wolves, tigers, and leopards roam at night, staying inside allows you to sleep warmly and comfortably until you wake up naturally. In search of excitement, Colin chose to camp in the wilderness during winter. This time he brought a lot of equipment. Coincidentally, there was a dead tree stump in front of him. Judging from the surface, it had been frozen for a long time, perfect for building a unique shelter. After coming up with the idea, he first took out a shovel and leveled the ground on a nearby slope. He used sacks as a carpet so the dogs could have a place to rest and sleep. Of course, a campfire was essential, especially since the temperature was several degrees below zero. After finishing the basic setup, he officially planned the additional space and began digging the foundation bit by bit. Fortunately, the soil here wasn't completely frozen yet, making the excavation relatively easy. Only the thick tree roots penetrating underground caused him quite a bit of trouble. Removing the big root took him several hours. Luckily, Colin was strong and resilient. Before long, the interior space belonged entirely to him. While digging deeper, he encountered a small native creature blocking his way. Being fond of cute little animals, Colin certainly wouldn't eat it. After briefly interacting with the little fellow, he found it a new home. After several days of hard work, the interior space became very large, more than enough for one person and 2 dogs. After completing the main structure of the bedroom, he expanded an entrance to the left, preparing to connect it to the nearby tree stump. Since it was an underground shelter, the entrance naturally had to be hidden. This process required extra caution, otherwise a single mistake would ruin the entire stump and force him to start over. Once he finally broke through, the exterior looked extremely well concealed, blending perfectly with nature. Next, he used charcoal to draw lines in the corner and carved out a fireplace. The temperature difference between day and night in the wilderness is huge. Without proper insulation, your teeth would chatter from the cold at night. For Colin, work and life were never separate, just different forms of the same thing. Some people choose to build their ideal life with their hands in the mountains, while others return to the city to find a stable job and build a career. With his rich construction experience, even if he didn't build shelters in the wild, he could easily find work and start over in the city. The failed excavation materials from earlier were repurposed as a stove. Lacking ceiling materials, he collected fresh water from a small pond to mix clay, but the clay alone wasn't strong enough, so he added dry grass to prevent cracking after it dried. He used the same method for the chimney, since most of the smoke would escape through there. He even raised the smoke outlet to prevent rainwater from flowing back in, as long as there wasn't heavy rain. After widening the tree stump entrance, entering and exiting became much easier. Even the dogs could go down effortlessly. Satisfied, Colin immediately gathered dry grass and firewood, placed them in the fireplace, and lit a fire. In the glow of the flames, he calmly set up his bed frame. The only thing left unfinished was the roof. Not giving himself any excuse to slack off, he quickly found thicker logs and laid them across the shelter as a roof. The structure was sturdy, no need to worry about collapse. Even if a several hundred-pound wild boar walked over it, it wouldn't shake. He filled the gaps between the logs with clay to prevent cold air from seeping inside. After sealing all the cracks, he refilled the soil dug up on top and scattered dry leaves around the new home as camouflage. With this simple decoration, the exterior looked naturally formed. Building the door was simple. He just needed a wooden board of the right size. After confirming the fit, he reinforced the inside with wooden stakes and added a handle for convenience. At this point, the shelter was finally complete. Colin moved his luggage indoors and decided to cook a good meal to reward himself. For dinner, he wanted pizza. He mixed milk and eggs to prepare the dough base, then added chicken breast and other toppings. Baking it over low charcoal heat at 200 degrees for 30 minutes produced a delicious meal. Just looking at it seemed incredibly tempting. For Colin, this was the best kind of life, after enduring days of cold hardship. Of course, the dogs got their share too. After eating and drinking their full, it was time to rest. Just a few minutes after lying down, Colin faintly heard animals howling. Meanwhile, the hunting camera he had installed outside successfully captured many pairs of glowing eyes.